Number 3, but early on in the program here on some of these live race days, we want to bring some of the connections and some of the folks that have been joining you all season long, even before I got here. And the man sitting to my right, to the left of your video monitors, it's Bob Hutt, President and CEO of Uptown Charlie Brown Stud LLC. Bob, you're not my first guest. Rich Perloff would have been the first guest, but you are the second guest. How about that?
Well, then I guess I got to leave.
Bob,
it's a pleasure being here.
It's a pleasure to have you, and nice meeting you, and thank you again for the hospitality. But talk about Pennsylvania and the breeding, and a little bit about what Uptown Charlie Brown Stud LLC is all about.
Well, the story started back in 1999 when my late best friend, trainer Alan Seawald, said to me, Bob, do you ever think of starting a partnership for the general public? Where they don't have to invest a lot of money? And I went, no. He said, well, how hard could it be? You'll have 2 horses, 10 partners, and it gives the everyday fan a chance to participate in racing. And he talked me into it. Well, unfortunately, Alan died in 2010, but if he was still alive, we'd be having a little heated discussion because we've grown to 100 horses and 500 partners. And for the last 4 years, we've been in the top 1% of the owners, racing primarily at PARX and supporting Pennsylvania breeding. When Alan, just before he died, he told me that Uptown Charlie Brown was the best horse I ever had. And he hadn't even worked out yet, so I sent out a flash bulletin to all our partners to come out and see the second coming of Secretariat. And Don, he wound up on the Triple Crown Trail, but unfortunately Alan died when that happened, and I had a scramble. And he only appeared at the Belmont Stakes, had an eventful trip, and a little while later got injured, and for all the wrong reasons to keep Alan's memory alive, I decided to make Uptown Charlie Brown a stud, and lo and behold, he's turned into probably the #1 stallion in all of Pennsylvania. And all the results we have are because of Alan and Uptown Charlie Brown.
And he's been a fantastic sire, as you say. We just had Pennsylvania Day at the races, and a couple special brothers, full brothers. They did something you really never see in racing in 2019 and 2020, running 1-2. Didn't quite work out on Monday, but talk about Midnight Charlie and also Midtown Charlie Brown a little bit, those two.
I'd be happy to. When we first started with Uptown Charlie Brown, we accepted whatever we could get, and my good friend, trainer Ed Coletti Jr., his stepmom, Irene Coletti, had a mare. She retired, ran twice in maiden claiming at Monmouth, just got beat, I think 50 lengths the first time and maybe 40 the second time for maiden 10.
Yeah.
And I said, Irene, why don't you breed Uptown Charlie Brown? You have a pet on the farm. And she did, and the first horse was Midtown Charlie Brown, who's won about half his races and earned about almost $600,000. And the second horse out of that mare, Torchwood, was Midnight Charlie, his full brother. And they did something in history that's never been done. They won the Banjo Picker Stakes, finishing 1-2, Midtown Charlie Brown first, Midnight Charlie second, in back-to-back years. But unfortunately, things did not go our way on Monday, but Midnight Charlie made a patented run, made up about 8 lengths from the quarter pole home and missed by 1 3/4, or we would have had it for 3 years.
Going to keep an eye on those PA breds. Ed Coletti Jr. is your main trainer. He's done such a fantastic job, and we're going to talk about your handicapping skills here in a second, but quickly talk about Ed Coletti Jr. before we throw it to the field here to give a preview for race 3.
Ed who?
Ed Coletti.
No, seriously. I've been with the Coletti family for almost 25 years now, starting with his father, Eddie Sr., who, when Eddie was a young and up-and-coming trainer from a generation of Colettis, his father used to basically give him 3-legged horses to train, and then when Alan died, I said, Eddie, how would you like to be a full-time trainer working for me? And he's now in the top 2% of all trainers in America, and has a full 40-horse barn. I don't know if he has room for me anymore, but he's just a wonderful person, has a great family, and just want to say get well to his wife, Darlene, who's home watching this on TV.
Yeah, you're doing a great job as always. Let's talk about some of your handicapping skills. We're going to throw it to the field here. Maybe we'll get Bob. Bob can talk all day with me about horses and Uptown Charlie Brown. Maybe he'll stick around for one more race, but let's talk about your handicapping. Pretty good handicapper?
I'd like to think so. When I go to
10
Vegas,
minutes.
when I go to Vegas, I visit my money. But,
10 minutes till race number 3. We're going to scratch number 8, AJ's Way, and we're going to talk about my selections and maybe even get a selection here from Bob Hutt. But the number 9, Impactful, will end up being my top selection in here. We talk about this 5-year-old gelding by Curlin, a Kentucky bred that comes out of a 12-5 non-winners of 4 lifetime. I think presents enough value in this race. The 7 is obviously going to go off favorite in here, but I think Dexter Haddock, Emmanuel Zordzakis, this barn in here teaming up, maybe 2 starts back. This horse has been facing some pretty good ones in JJD and Silver Edge. Let's get some value there with 6-1 on the 9. Second choice is going to end up being the number 7, Goldenlineof. Mario Dominguez, Ruben Silvera, second, beaten 4.5. This horse has got a late kick, will close in the lane. We'll see if this horse, is going to be closer to the pace. Has shown some speed, but the best race it looks like on paper to me was when the horse came from off the pace in here from well back in a 12-5 non-winners of 3 lifetime, and that was at a price. Horse came right back and ran well, a good third at the 12-5 non-4 level. But we'll see if this horse is ready here at the 7,500 non-4. 8-5, just a little bit short for me. And then the 5 will round out my trifecta here with Boston Light. Tyler Service aboard, has shown some speed at the 7,500 non-winners of 4. We're going to see if this horse is going to be able to hang on a little bit longer this afternoon, sitting at 8-1. So I think this is the type of race where maybe we can find some value in here at this level, 7,500 non-winners of 4. Bob, was there a horse that was standing out to you? Have I named a horse that you really like in here? But what did you think?
You hit on 3 of them, and I think Courtney Gelato, the young apprentice, whose agent happens to be my son Jared, will try to make the lead in here with the 7. If they ding-dong, it's going to set it up for your 9, and I would agree with that. But I think the 1 is going to show up late. I know from 6.5, 7 furlongs, you don't really want to be on the inside, but if they get into a ding-dong battle, it'll be the 1 and the 9 coming to take them all on, and I'm going to go with the 1, Cobble Hill.
Likes Howard Brown Jr. here. You see the runner getting saddled right now at 5-1. How much handicapping goes into when you take a look at your horses? When you're entering some of those races, PA day at the races, stakes races, how much handicapping are you doing as well?
Well, I happen to be a Ragozin sheet disciple for about 30 years, and I use the sheets to eliminate horses to see if we belong, and if we don't fit, we don't run that day. And when we enter stakes, which we've been doing mostly, I always get the nominations to see who we have to beat. And if it looks like a race we like, that's where we go. And the best example of that would be the race at Belmont Stakes, the Victory Ride, where I had the only closer in a graded stake race who came from dead last, and everybody else was speed. And then young Michael Sanchez, who became one of the top riders on the East Coast, I gave him one instruction: make sure you're last at the top of the stretch, and then cut her loose. You get there, you don't, it's on me. Before I let you out of here, any exciting 2-year-olds that we got coming up? You don't have to give me names, but you and your partners, I know you guys care a lot about those 2-year-olds, so what do you think? Yeah, we have 4 of the Dreamers who already won and will next run in a stake at Presque Isle. And we have 3 really exciting colts in the barn ready to unleash. One will be Don Giuseppe. We bred the horse, and I decided to sell it, but changed my mind and bought it back for $64,000 at the Maryland Fassett-Tipton sale. And we have the full brother to Midtown Charlie Brown and Midnight Charlie, Downtown Charlie Brown. There's no R in Charlie because it would be 19 letters and the Jockey Club wouldn't accept it. We have a partner named Charlie with no R too, so yeah, Charlie, we named it after you. But they're really, really nice horses, and hopefully on Labor Day, we're going to unveil a few. Alan would be proud of you. You're a gentleman. Thank you for joining me here in the PARX Racing studio. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well, spending some time here with Bob Hutt. Some good handicapping. We got 6 minutes till race number 3. The horses are coming onto the track. Bob, you're the man. Thank you so much. Pleasure being here. Good luck here in today's third. Okay. Thank you.